Hey, good morning. Have you heard the news? It's time for good bits. All right, so good bits, if you don't know by now, is your daily dose of three good things. So we're going to start right off with thing number one. Thing number one was this story I read on National Geographic yesterday about the country of the Netherlands. The Netherlands is the number two food exporter in the world, and they're right behind the United States, and they use an area that is minuscule compared to what we use for our food production. And so you can get, the story has tons of interesting little tidbits like this. There's a farm. It leads in with a farmer who grows potatoes, and he's in his tractor, and he has a drone tractor and then a quadcopter that are out monitoring his farm and helping him raise his potato production. So, an average acre of production globally produces about 8 tons of potatoes per acre. This guy produces 20 tons of potatoes per acre. Pretty amazing. Um, Going further into the article, you find out that the Netherlands is the number one tomato exporter in the world, and they're doing this all with greenhouses. And so instead of using their land out, they're building greenhouses and going up, and they've reduced the amount of pesticide that they use. They reduce the amount of water that they use, and it's a super interesting story. And if you ever feel like oh man, we really need to worry about food security, which I think is a big issue and a big thing we need to be thinking about as the population continues to grow globally. This is a really encouraging story because I think it shows a lot of ways that we can continue to grow production without taxing our resources even more. So that's good bit number one. All right, good bit number two is a story from the United Kingdom where two brothers took their Playmobil ship. They're 8 and 5, Ollie and Harry, and they took their Playmobil ship and made it waterproof, added a counterweight so it stay upright, and set it on an adventure. Actually, the ship is called Adventure, and they set it sailing from the Netherlands, where it made its way to Denmark and then Sweden and Norway. And they have put a message on the ship with their information so that if you find it, that you will send them a picture and then put the ship back into the water. So that's the only request I have is like, let us know you found it and put it back on its journey. So if you see a little Playmobil ship floating around, that's Adventure, and take a picture and send it back on its way. That's good bit number two. So good bit number three. So I fly occasionally for work, not that often, but every time I do, you talk to people about it, and nobody really likes to fly, and I think it's not really about the flying itself. It's about the whole process, the ordering, the getting on the plane, going through security, all those things. And then you get there, and then your flight is delayed. I had a flight that was delayed, actually canceled a couple last year. Yeah, it was last year. It was August 12th, and I was trying to get home, and it was the last flight of the day from Miami to Pensacola, and the crew wasn't there. And the next day was my anniversary. So I spent my anniversary in Miami, and it was miserable. And so I'm saying all this because airlines, I think, they have a hard job. And I think, they are not always in control of some of the factors that go into what makes their job hard. So Delta this week, they had a flight that was going to San Juan. And it was scheduled to arrive right before Hurricane Irma hit the island. And so this was flying from JFK to San Juan, and they landed right before the hurricane hit, and they were able to take back off before the storm was too bad for them to get out. So the total time they spent on the ground, they were on the ground for under an hour. So they landed, got the luggage off, put the luggage on, got everybody on and off the plane in under an hour. And these are extreme circumstances. So I'm not saying you should expect this on your next flight, but I think like a story like this where you see an airline working really hard to make something like that happen. I think that's I think something that we should talk about and being like spotlight and say, hey, good job, Delta. So good job, Delta. All right, so those are your three good things for today. I hope you've enjoyed them, and I'll be back on Monday with another batch of good bits. And so until then, I hope that you have a good weekend. Take it easy.